Hello and welcome to another quick session with me here. Yesterday I was doing this workshop for a long distance university where I was talking to many students. I do these things occasionally to universities and schools and stuff like that. And a question that came up was this lady who is of course not a coder. That is usually the audience of the workshop, and she was asking me like she is a total dummy, like someone who doesn't know anything, not in a negative sense, but in a humorous way to put across our question. And she was like, what should she do? She's like she's like she's just new, she has no idea about any of this stuff. She feels like there are some opportunities, employment opportunities, a chance to switch her career and stuff like that, and she would like to get into this software development industry if she can. And right now she has no idea about anything. She does not even own a computer. So I gave her an answer but I had to be very short, I had to be very brief. And then the session ended. It was a 1 hour session, and it was like one of the last questions in the session, and I had to wrap up. But I figured, okay, there is perhaps I can make a short stream about it, and then I can record it, and then I can upload it on my YouTube and stuff, because this question keeps coming all the time. So if you are someone who is completely, I'd like to use the word never coder, someone who has never coded in their life. So I thought I'll try to make it a non-technical guide, but of course I still have to use a lot of technical words. I can't escape using technical words because that's how the industry works. And still I'll try to remain as non-technical as possible. And this is my website where I do run like a free coding group, like a community. So if you want to check it out, please do. And let's get started. So the first thing is it easy? The question that keep coming up is it easy to enter this software industry? I think that was one of the questions. The answer is yes and no, because nothing is easy in life, and every year, like everything else, software industry is also kind of becoming bigger and more complex and stuff like that. So the answer is no, it is not easy. It was easy like perhaps 10 years ago when things were far simple. It was super easy 20 years ago when I graduated. Yeah, definitely. But now things have become really complex because computers are going everywhere. So it is not easy anymore. That's my simple, direct answer. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but that is the truth of it. So it is not easy anymore. However, of course, with everything else in life, if you are willing to work hard, then it should become easy. That is what I would like to say. So that is the very first thing. Now, where do you start your journey? You will probably have to pick a programming language. Okay, at the heart of every software development career is a programming language. Imagine the software industry is like a new country that you're trying to live in, and obviously that country would have its own culture, it would have its own way of doing things, and it would have its own language. For instance, I'm from India, and if you want to come to India, then you would have to learn at least one of the popular languages in India, so that you can spend some time here and so on. Like for instance, most of the of course English is used all over India. You could also learn something like Hindi, which is spoken pretty much all over India. So there you go. So you would have to learn a language before you can enter a specific world. And in the software industry, we have multiple programming languages, and I would personally recommend JavaScript as the first language that you should make an attempt to learn. Now, why JavaScript? I feel that of all the languages out there, this is the one which has more opportunities at an early stage of a career, and then it is kind of easier to start learning and so on and so forth. So this is what I would recommend. So if you're trying to enter the industry and you want to make it a little easy on yourself, then I would recommend you start from JavaScript, because it is easy to learn and there are always a lot of job opportunities when it comes to JavaScript. Now the next thing I would like to say is, what about tools? So again, I want to keep this non-technical. So when you are trying to become a developer, you need to practice this language JavaScript. All right, so to do that you need tools, and for this I would recommend a web based editor. Okay, so because it's a programming language, you will have to type it in an editor, and to make your life easy, okay, now it doesn't matter whether you have a Mac computer, a Windows computer, or a Chromebook, or even an iPad or an Android tablet. All these guys, you know, they have large screens. You know, a tablet would at least have 10 inches, which is more than enough to type if that's what you choose, or any laptop would have 13 inches or 15 inches, and all of them would have a web browser. So I would recommend for the early stages that you use a web-based editor, and I would personally recommend that you use CodePen. Okay, and this would be for what I like to call vanilla JavaScript. I'll talk about vanilla JavaScript in a few minutes. And along with this, I would also recommend that you use Code Sandbox for you know, React JS. So this is my recommendation. You know, when you start programming, when you want to start learning, please use a web-based editor. And my recommendation, there are many brands, of course, like everything else in life, there are many brands with whatever you try to do in life, and the brands that I recommend is CodePen, and then I would also recommend for Vanilla JS and Code Sandbox for React JS. So that is where you get started, whether you have a tablet, an Android tablet, iPad, or any computer, you know, Chromebooks, expensive, you know, Apple computers, or budget Dell or something, HP computers. It doesn't matter what device you're using, all of them will have a browser, so you can get started with practicing JavaScript in a web-based editor. This is what I would recommend. I'm I'm having a throat reaction because I just finished cooking, and you know, in India we have all these spices, and it's making it hard for me to breathe. So sorry about that, but otherwise I am fine. I don't have a cough. I don't think so. I think it's just a reaction to the spices. Let me drink some water here. Okay, now you have the tools now, the web editors. I have given you 2 recommendations. But where would you start? You know, what are the best places to start? Now, the good thing is, when it comes to learning JavaScript, because it is so popular and things like that, there is a huge amount of content out there. Of all that content, I would recommend these things. First step, I would sincerely recommend you start in this website called Free Code Camp, and I'll show that now on the screen. Let me fire up my browser here. So let me just go here. So please visit this website. And again, this is a free, like literally free. It's a, I believe it's a non-profit. And if you go to this website, you'll see here called JavaScript Algorithms and Data Structures. So this is where you land, and it has a massive course, self-learning course, which covers every corner of JavaScript. So I'm going to leave that on the screen so it gets recorded. JavaScript algorithms and data structures. This is where you start, and probably this is where you will end your initial stage of learning. So again, in this video, I just want to focus on the things that a beginner would need. I don't want to talk about anything that an advanced person might need. So there you go. This is one place where you want to come. And I just want to make a note here that this will take anywhere from 100 to 300 hours for a NeverCoder to finish. So just keep this, you know, the amount of time commitment if you want to do this. Now please understand, programming, like everything else, takes a serious amount of effort. You can't just jump in once in a week and then expect to become a developer. It doesn't work that way. So please, you know, this is my estimation based on me using this with hundreds of students over so many years. So this is my estimation, for someone who has never coded. Okay, so just remember that this video is for people who have never coded in their life. So that is one option for you. After this, if you want to go, another option for you is something called Project Odin. There you go, the Odin project. Yeah, sorry, there you go. See, another one I would recommend. These guys have a different approach. Okay, they have this course called Full Stack JavaScript. I haven't gone through this. I haven't used this myself. Okay, I have used the free code camp, but I haven't used the Odin project, although maybe I should check it out someday. So I'm going to put that in the slide here as well. So another option, or rather an alternative, or maybe you want to do both, is the Odin project. I believe Odin is from the Norse mythology. I don't know, I've not used this myself, so I don't know how many hours it will take, but that is another alternative for you. They have a different approach. They're similar to free code camp. It's another not for profit kind of setup. So that is another recommendation for you. And here they have a course called Full Stack JavaScript. So I would say in terms of difficulty, free code camp is more beginner friendly, and this one is more like maybe a second stage of learning and so on. So, and along with this, of course, you have so many other options. For instance, you have the MDN reference website by Mozilla. I'll let you just Google that. This is something like not really necessary for a first timer, but I'm just going to put that on the slide. So if you're really serious, you go ahead and Google that. And of course, do not forget, I myself run a community, a student community, where me and other students who have already been taught by me, we hang out and stuff like that. So we have our own Discord server. You are more than welcome to join our Discord server. You can ask questions, you can interact with me, you can interact with other students, and generally just have a fun time learning. And it is free. We are not asking for any money or anything. We are just doing it for fun. So you can also join our Discord community and stuff like that. And finally, please remember that before you do any of these things, you would have to create for yourself a GitHub account. All right, so please remember, you would have to create a GitHub account. A GitHub account is like a passport. Let me show my own GitHub account for you. There it is. So that is my own GitHub account. That's me. That's my face over there. So I have a lot of videos about GitHub on my YouTube channel. I put the link in the description and so on. So you may want to check that out. But otherwise, yes. So GitHub is kind of like your passport for everything and anything you want to do as a developer for the rest of your life. It's kind of like your identity. It becomes everything from your resume to your social network and everything else that you can think of. So please make sure that you create for yourself a GitHub account. And plus, there are a lot of things you can do with GitHub. I put a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. But even if you don't watch those videos, first step, please make sure that you create a GitHub account for yourself. And when you are more comfortable, now please remember, I insist you start learning with these web editors, because that gives you a lot of flexibility before you get your hands really dirty. But then when you're ready, you want to move away, or complement your web editing with a text editor. Oops, I think that went away. Hold on. There we go. Good thing about the cloud, everything is saved automatically. So you have spent enough hours. I'm talking at least 100 to 200 hours or 10 to 20 hours, depending on how fast or slow you learn. I would recommend you switch from a web editor to a regular computer text editor. Okay, so this one will run directly on your computer, and my recommendation is an editor called VS Code. Now please understand that you want to come to VS Code only after you've spent enough time in using these web editors. So when you feel like you've done everything you can, you learned enough things on the web editors, only then you make the switch to VS Code. And once again, I've put a bunch of videos about how to use VS Code, how to type in VS Code and stuff like that in my YouTube channel. You can check that out. Okay, so there it is. This is all the stuff I want to tell you. So if you are someone who has never coded, just remember, is it easy? No, it is not. Which language? JavaScript is the easiest in my opinion. Start by using web-based editors. There are two options I'll give you. One is CodePen, another one is Code Sandbox. And then the place to start learning is Free Code Camp. And then the second option is the Odin project. Now the Free Code Camp, I use it on a daily basis and I have an estimate how long it takes to finish. Okay, and the Odin project, I haven't used it personally, but I hear a lot of good things about it. You know, whenever I think about Free Code Camp or discuss about Free Code Camp, the Odin project keeps popping up. So but of these two, I find Free Code Camp is more beginner friendly, and I would consider the Odin project as a second choice, or rather a sequel, once you have finished Free Code Camp. And in this Free Code Camp, you are going to be focusing on this specific course. You know, I think I should put this as a slide here. So what is the specific course? You'll be spending time on this one. So this is what you will be spending all your time. This is the one which takes like 200 to 300 hours or something like that to finish. Yeah, that is scary. I told you, these things are not easy anymore. I think the hourly estimate would be similar to the Odin project as well. And as an extra, when you're ready to go deep, then I would recommend you simply Google or Bing MDN reference website by Mozilla, an excellent website. And of course, I myself run a free Discord community where I am always hanging out, and I have a lot of students. You know, my students from my tutoring batches, they hang out and they also help other students. So please consider joining this community, only if you want to discuss with other people. And more importantly, don't forget to create a GitHub account. And of course, once you are going really cool with these web editors, then you may want to switch to a regular computer text editor, which is going to be VS Code is what I recommend. And of course, for VS Code and GitHub account and stuff like that, I've made a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel. You may want to try that. Okay, so that is all I wanted to say. I hope this was as non-technical as it can get. But I just want to say, please remember that if you're a non-coder, especially if you're an adult, you know, you're already like 20, in your 20s or 30s, if you're trying to make the switch, things are not going to be easy for you. So please remember that it never is an easy thing to become, you know, change industries or change careers. But yes, software industry, there are a lot of opportunities, so you may be thinking about it. So please understand the challenges. Okay. Second, don't forget the time commitment. Remember, I told you this is serious figure. Okay, I'm not messing around with that number. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. It is a fact. There are some people who finish the whole thing in 100 hours. There are some people who take really long time. So keep this number in your mind whenever you try to become a developer for the first time. Now, if you are naturally smart, then maybe it is less. Okay, and if you're naturally smart, I congratulate you. But I am mainly making this video for someone who is coming in with average skills, you know, average thinking styles and so on. Then yes, the time commitment is actually a very big deal. So don't forget that. Okay, and ultimately, just remember, you know, be patient. Okay, it's going to be a really long journey, and then it takes a lot of effort, and it's very stressful as well, especially the first 4 to 8 weeks. When I say 4 to 8 weeks, I am assuming you're going to be coding for at least 10 to 20 hours per week. And of course, hiring a tutor might be beneficial. Purchasing a course on an online website might be beneficial. Joining a community college or a weekend batch or a live session, either in person or online, would be beneficial. All these things are really, really great. Either way, just remember the time commitment. That is a real thing. Okay, so there we go. So once again, I hope this was useful. If I see there's one person watching, so thank you for watching. And I will also upload this on the YouTube channel, and this is where I'm going to wrap up. Thank you.